Naruto's Path to Power, Perfect Jinchuriki and Unstoppable Rise Against Konoha's Root. Episode 101. Medicine Master's Pocket breaking out in a cold sweat. Everyone in the examination room flashed a sneer. This little devil of Konoha was so arrogant, he deserved to be beaten. Lying groove, Rokudo tos Sasuke hurry up. Naruto screamed strangely and kicked Sasuke up. Sasuke, Konoha's imp is too arrogant. Dare to look down on us. I want to tell you today that even the small ninja village has geniuses. Tell you what it means to be outsiders. The three of Otobo shouted and attacked towards Sasuke. Although Sasuke was stunned, but seeing that there were three little minions provoking him, suddenly the double hook jade riding will eyes directly opened. What dares to spread wild in Konoha? Look at me. Bang. Suddenly, a black shadow flashed, and the three of them were directly kicked out in midair with a confused look. Sasuke, who was about to pretend, looked at the black shadow with an unhappy face, and actually stole his limelight. However, when he fixed his eyes, the falling black shadow was a Konoha ninja. I saw that he was quietly wiping the cold sweat on his forehead at this time. TMD. Do these 3-2 even dare to come forward even if they collect intelligence? As a heavy spy of Konoha's, Suna, Scorpion, and Orochimaru, Kabuto's intelligence 22 collection ability is naturally a strong stroke, and ordinary Konoha ninjas may not know Naruto's details, but as an excellent spy, almost all of Naruto's abilities displayed in Konoha's high level have been collected. After all, Naruto didn't think about hiding at all when he used his power. He needed deterrence instead of whole cards. So Kabuto clearly knows how terrifying this arrogant, harmless-looking little brother like Naruto in front of him is. Mu Duan, Bing Duan, nine-tailed chakra. Even if they openly provoke the high level of Konoha, they leave Konoha helpless. In this Konoha, this master is a unique existence, seeing that this big guy actually came to participate in the Zongnan exam. Those fools sent by Lord Orochimaru actually tried to provoke him. This made Kabuto's scalp tingle, and he directly kicked the three fools out. Although they were originally outcasts to test Sasuke's strength, if they provoked Naruto, the great god, it would be worth the loss. Although he still doesn't know the specific plan of Lord Orochimaru, as long as he offends Naruto, no matter what plan he has, it is likely to fail. This is the keen intuition of a veteran intelligence trafficker. So Kabuto didn't have time to continue hiding, and directly kicked the three idiots out. Looking at Naruto's playful eyes, Yakushi hurriedly revealed a righteous and stern expression. This is in our Konoha, it's not the exam stage yet, no matter how elite you are in the village, but it's not your turn to teach us newcomers. Sasuke on the opposite side snorted coldly, nosy, but people were also well-intentioned, so Sasuke didn't pursue it, but complained angrily to Naruto behind him. What are you kicking me for? Naruto shrugged innocently, I'm not pretending to be you. Well, the chance to revive Uchiha's prestige. Sasuke looked at Naruto with black lines full of black lines. He meowed, I heard me. If you can't beat it, Lao-Tzu will let you know why the flower is so red. At this time, Ino finally broke free from the shackles of Shikamaru and Dingji, and she rushed over and hugged Naruto's neck. Naruto, you're so slow. Ino pressed his face to Naruto's body with a happy look. I can't sleep with excitement when I think of seeing a teacher I haven't seen for a long time. Kakashi, Sakura, Tenten, Omega Omega, damn it. Ino bore let go of Naruto. Ino raised his head, looked at the three of Xiangyan with a look of disgust and said, what? The wide forehead, the violent woman and the Marikotu are also there. You stay away from Naruto-sensei. You abominable big fat pig. The three of them rarely shouted in unison, and whoever was close to Naruto in the current situation would be attacked by the group. On the other side, Hinata-tsu hid behind Tooth with a red face and looked at Ino enviously. Shikamaru sighed and walked up. What, isn't it a bit of a bully for this kind of troublesome exam? Even Naruto-sensei came to participate. And Hinata's teeth also nodded with a look of approval. Indeed, there is a teacher, and there is nothing wrong with us at all. Naruto looked at the little powerhouses who squeezed him, and an evil expression appeared on his face. I see that you are tired and crooked. Do you want me to check your cultivation progress? Xiao Cheng shook his head repeatedly. For a while, they remembered those horrible days in school, and finally graduated, and the ghost wanted to meet the guy. Several people looked at the noisy girls and rolled their eyes, except for them. Abominable. Who are you? Dare to stop us. At this time, the three of Ototo climbed up from the wall and looked at Kabuto angrily. Because of his subordinate's mercy, the three of them just scratched a little skin. At this time, they transferred their hatred to Pocket. If not for himself, he would definitely be able to teach those arrogant little fart children a lesson. Kabuto looked at the three who were so stupid that they couldn't be cured, their faces darkened. If you want to fight in the examination room, aren't you afraid of disqualifying the exam because of the fight? The three of them were shocked in their hearts after listening to the reminder of the Pocket. If they were brushed down in front, wouldn't the big snake pill be widowed? The three glanced at Naruto angrily. You guys wait. When it comes to the actual combat link, it will definitely make you look good. Kabuto looked at the three who spoke ruthlessly and cursed wildly in his heart. He glanced at Naruto cautiously, and found that he looked at the three with a smile and did not seem to be angry. Looking at the three dead fools, Kabuto secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He hurriedly turned his head to look at Naruto and this newcomer, and then pretended not to know them and began to exchange information about his old good people. Do you have any information about the guy who carried the gourd? Sasuke asked Kabuto, and when Naruto was around in the past 7 days, the three of Sasuke ran into the three of them like a plot. And it seems that because I was put by Naruto, I almost didn't resist Sasuke. After a few brief tentative exchanges, Kakashi appeared to stop the trembling. So Sasuke was particularly interested in this strong man with a back gourd. This time, there were 138 people who took the Chunin exam, and the original Kusanagi naturally couldn't come alone under Naruto's intervention. It seemed that Ero heard Sasuke's inquiry and looked at Naruto with a frantic look. This guy. I actually came to the competition. Endless killing intent struck towards Naruto, but Naruto didn't feel it at all, and conjured an ice rose and sent it to Temari. Beauty, I haven't seen you for a long time. Is your brother obedient? Do you want me to teach him more lessons? I love Luo, not a dish of one. Episode 102. I love Luo, you have Mazwanang. You fellow, Iai Luo suddenly looked at Naruto on the side, and Kankuro's faces changed drastically. Calm. I love Ro. Sedation. Don't do this time. However, an arm was put on my Ero's shoulder without care, and the uncontrollable chakra was instantly pressed. How is that possible? Kankuro and Temari looked at Naruto in shock, and Ero looked at the arm on his shoulder in disbelief. Shuzuru's chakra. Forcibly down, and my AI Luo's consciousness is not pulled into a pitch-black space. Suddenly, a ghost light lit up, and a huge Morizuru appeared in his body, along with Naruto's figure. Here. Where is it? AI Luo looked at Shoha in confusion. This is the monster in my body? Shoha's treacherous voice came. You are the monster. Your whole family is a monster. I was shocked and looked at Shuzuru with some fear. This is the monster that has tormented him for so many years? Stinky fox. You come out, I know it's you who made the hell. What's it called? You stinky tanuki? You one-tail scum. The lazy voice of the 9 llamas came out, and a huge red fox lit up from a shadowy place, which was the deep consciousness space of the tailed beasts, and the place where the tailed beasts handed over their chakra to Naruto. Damn stinky fox. Do you want to fight? And what are you bringing Renzali here for? Shoha gritted his teeth and scolded at the 9 tails, because the 9 tails always liked to divide the strength of the tailed beast by the number of tails, so Shoha wanted to greet the 9 tails every time. At this time, Naruto suddenly spoke. I called you over. When Moritsuru heard this, he looked at Naruto with disdain. You? This is our deepest space of consciousness. How can you enter without the consent of the 9 llamas? Naruto looked at the hard-mouthed Shuzuru and smiled slightly, and the terrifying chakra gushed out from him and pressed directly towards Shuzuru. Impossible. Moritsuru looked at Naruto with a look of horror. How come your chakra is more than me? And at this time, Iai Luo on the side was directly dumbfounded. This person in front of him was actually more powerful than the monster in his body? Naruto smiled and put away his chakra. The main purpose of this time is to tell you that I can forcibly suppress you with my own strength, but as the son of destiny prophesied by the 6 old men, I naturally want to live in peace with you. So I work as a matchmaker. Well, I promise, this person in front of you is still good in nature and can live in peace. I guess you know this yourself, otherwise you wouldn't have lent your power to your mother. Shoha's eyes widened when he heard this, and he screamed in shock. Impossible. What are you kidding, 9 Llama? Is he serious? Do you think this guy is the child of destiny prophesied by the 6 immortals? 9 Tails rolled his eyes. You can't believe what he says. I can't beat him anyway, so I believe it. Shoha. And at this time, Iai Luo finally came to his senses. You also have monsters in your body. Naruto glanced at Iroh and sneered. Monster? If it weren't for the monsters in your body, you wouldn't know how many times you died. They are also emotional and conscious souls, but the body is composed of chakra, and the so-called intelligent life is not just human. Iai Luo retorted excitedly, but he destroyed the village. Let everyone be afraid of me. Let me be isolated by everyone. Naruto directly slapped Iroh in the face in an instant. Idiot, if Shoha wants to run away, you can stop it? Obviously, it is because your control force is unstable, and you accidentally injured the villagers, which is why people are fearful. Obviously, you chose to run away by yourself, and Shoha will take the opportunity to release his power. Everything about you is caused by your father. What does it have to do with Shoha? In order to suppress Shoha, Fenfu was locked up in a secret room all his life, extracting chakra to prevent him from coming out. Just by virtue of your little fart and the simple seal of your Shine village, you also want to suppress the Shoha. What kind of joke? are you too underestimating the tailed beast? Moritsuru on the side heard what Naruto said, and a complicated expression appeared on his face. He was the first to treat the tailed beast as an adult, and Naruto's words came to his heart. Since Iroh was born, he has never taken the initiative to storm, and even saw Rasha's crazy second stroke to assassinate his son, and he also lent his power to the soul who guarded my Arrow's side. He felt that he had never done anything except that he was a talker and liked to chat with me Iluo every day. Luo looked at Shoha and said angrily, impossible. I still have the power of monsters by my side. He stopped anyone from approaching me. Naruto looked at me Arrow like an idiot, that was your mother's obsession before she died. She was worried that you would be ostracized by the people of the village if you became a human pillar, so even if you die, I must protect you. Do you think Shoha is really so idle that he eats enough to protect a person who seals himself? Luo looked at Naruto with lightning and muttered, it's impossible, my mother hates me, my uncle also hates me, he said it himself. Naruto looked sympathetically at Iroh who was lost and said, if you want to blame you for a ruthless father, your uncle's mission was originally given by him, in order to test whether Shizuru will run away after you lose your mind. Of course, you should be glad that you have a mother who loves you, even if she dies, she is protecting you with the power of Shoha. Every assassination is her protection day and night, if it weren't for her, you would have died I don't know how many times. My Luo's eyes were red, and tears were unconsciously coming. Impossible, I'm a monster, no one likes me. Shoha on the side couldn't stand it, and he said to my Luo, since you are all here, what he said is not wrong at all. It's not me who guards you, after you die, I will dissipate for a while at most, and I will be reborn soon after. So when you die, I'm free, and I don't have to protect you at all. It is your mother's soul that has been manipulating the sand to protect you. Naruto looked at the crying Iroh and sighed. Your mother is not the only one who wants to protect you, your brother and sister want to protect you very much in their hearts, but they have to stay away from you due to their strength and their father's orders. Of course, and my brother-in-law, I will cover you in the future. When the middle ninja exam is over, let's go together to the sand ninja village and destroy it. I love Ro. Worthy? Episode 103. This question is really white. The speed of consciousness in the space of the tailed beast is far faster than reality, and in the eyes of Kankuro and Temari, Luo broke out with killing intent, and was immediately pressed down by Naruto, and as a result, within a few seconds, Luo began to cry bitterly. I love Ro. What happened to you? Temari asked with a worried look on her face, and then she pulled out her weapon and forced Naruto away. Although he has a lot of good feelings for Naruto, Luo is her younger brother after all, and now his own brother is bullied. Temari immediately stood up and said excitedly, what did you do to my Luo? Naruto shrugged innocently, it's just to tell him some truth so that he can treat you better. Temari frowned when he heard this, and blocked in front of my Luo. What truth? What truth do you know as an outsider? Stay away from us in the future. In Temari's opinion, Naruto was too dangerous, and he easily made Iroh cry. They didn't even know how Naruto did it. Stop. Temari. Sister, I'm okay. Temari and Kankuro looked back in shock. Temari. Sister? He called Sister Temari. My Luo's face was red when the two of them looked at him, but fortunately, his outer body was covered with a layer of sand armor, and there was no change in expression at all from outsiders. So Luo quickly returned to his original tone, humph. Sit down. The exam is about to begin. Seeing Temari just blocking in front of him and saying that he wanted to protect himself, my Luo's heart was full of warmth. It turns out that there are still people who silently care about themselves. Temari and Kankuro Ronin looked at each other full of shock. I love Luo, this is sick. But for the two, their hearts were filled with great joy. Temari even more excitedly threw Naruto a wink, and then hurriedly sat back in his seat. Naruto sighed a little. The task is heavy and the road is long. How can he be afraid of his brother-in-law as one of his future concubines? And at this time, with a bang, Morihibiki came with a group of Naka shinobi heavenly troop posing. Give me quiet. You trash. Everyone looked at the podium in unison, and Morihibiki, who was full of scars, sneered and looked at this group of shinobi. I've waited for a long time. I'm Morihibiki, the examiner of the first exam of the Chunin selection. You guys, don't mess around with me before the exam. Do you want to be eliminated immediately? Do not fight privately without the permission of the examiner. Even if the examiner allows it, you can't take action that kills the other party. The stupid pigs who dare to disobey Uncle Ben will be eliminated immediately. Got it? Immediately, Morihibiki looked at Naruto, who was gradually looking a little unkind, and added, except for you. Everyone in the examination room was in an uproar. Not convinced. I'm not convinced. Why do you Konoha still have privileges? This favoritism is too much. Even the son of the fourth generation can't cheat on this kind of life-fighting exam. What? He is the son of your fourth generation of Hokage? There was a sudden noise above the examination room, but at this time, several Naka shinobi behind Ibiki sneered and directly rushed to the front of several most cheerful shinobi. With an easy flying kick, these people were instantly kicked upside down and flew out. A few of you eliminated. Mori Hibiki sneered, take care of him? No. Really take care of you. If you have the ability to resist us, you will also receive the same treatment. As soon as these words were said, everyone in the examination room looked at Naruto in surprise. Even the examiner could not compare to his strength. Since there is no doubt, let's start the first exam of the Zongnin selection now. After everyone received their examination numbers according to the application form, they began the first written test. Strict rules, complicated test questions, and strange ways of judging cheating leave many people scratching their heads. Only some smart people immediately understood the meaning of the so-called ninja way exam. So the ninjas in the examination room began to show their own powers. Shino's bug, the toothed dog, Kankuro's crow, and Nezuko's Sharingan. Naruto yawned deeply as he watched this boring exam. He knew that whether he wrote the answer or not, Sarutobi would definitely let himself pass smoothly. But as a good teacher, Naruto still felt that he should fill out this damn role well. Immediately Naruto's chakra condensed his eyes, and green tendons appeared in the corners of Naruto's eyes, the most elementary use of reincarnation eyes, white eyes. That's a big question. I grasp. This question is so white, huh? Why is this question still graffiti on the roll? No, I can't stand it. After scanning all the girls in the examination room, Naruto finally found the answer that had been arranged in the examination room in advance. Naruto immediately scribbled his book, and all 10 super grand questions were easily filled. After 45 minutes, Mori Hibiki began to fool many candidates with his set of psychological games. There are constantly people in the examination room who can't stand the huge pressure and choose to give up this exam until Hooper quiet examination room. Everyone brushed in unison to look in the direction where the snoring came from. At this time Naruto had a strange smile on his face. It seemed to be dreaming of something. Sin Naruto looking at Naruto with black lines full of black lines. This TM, you sleep and sleep, and TM snoring. The tense atmosphere that he had managed to create was instantly swept away. When many candidates saw Naruto, who did not take the Chunin exam seriously, the competitive spirit in their hearts was immediately stimulated. Even this son of the fourth generation is not worried that he can become a middle ninja, so what is there to worry about? It's a big deal, like the son of the fourth generation who can endure it now in this life. Huh? Is class over? Naruto, who slept a little confused, opened his eyes in confusion. This kind of lecture hall reminded him of the days of university classes in his previous life, and I have to say that this design is indeed comfortable to sleep in. Mori Hibiki glanced at Naruto and sighed. There is such a master. The first exam he proctored was originally like a joke. The 3 generations of Hokage had already explained in advance before coming. No matter what, he needed to let Naruto talk about the next exam. There are 2 answers to question 11 originally prepared. One is to choose to stay, then it is the courage to cut off, and the other is to choose to leave, then it is a rational judgment. Who would have thought that this guy would go to sleep without even listening? Senaibi looked helplessly at the candidates who were no longer shaken and sighed. Congratulations, the assessment has passed. The next moment, the window of the classroom shattered in response, and the excited voice of Red Bean came out from the baggage. Ha! You bastard has finally fallen into my hands. Episode 104. I'll talk about it later. Naruto covered his eyes with some headache. Although Red Bean is the most unlocked pose at night, this big grinning personality really makes people with a skin like Naruto sometimes feel helpless. This time she heard that Naruto actually came to the Chunin exam, and he happened to be the examiner of the second exam. Hi. Didn't this fall into his own hands? However, the strange atmosphere of the examination room made Hongdo feel that something was wrong, and there were many more examinees on the scene at this time than in the original work. Nearly 100 examinees looked at Hongdo with a confused face, and Ibiki behind the account poked out his head to remind. It's good to look at the atmosphere of the scene. Hongdo looked at the examinee below with a red face, and when he saw Naruto who covered his eyes, he suddenly became angry. What are you covering? Why didn't you cover your eyes last night? To lose everyone together. So, Red Bean disappeared from the examination room along with Naruto's figure. Wait a minute. I haven't finished talking yet, I'm an examiner. You can't do that to me. The sound of Red Bean's screaming echoed, and many candidates in the examination room hated their teeth. Is this TM a winner in life? Shengyan Ino, Sakura, Tian and other women looked at the back of the Red Bean disappearing with adoration. Sister Hongdo is still the strongest, and I will be like her in the future. Hinata's face was directly flushed and he didn't dare to think about it. Temari huffed and looked at the departing Naruto and waved his fist. there was even a sister-in-law who dared to provoke the old lady. That is, Naruto did not hear what the women said, otherwise he would definitely educate the red beans with love education. If you cultivate all your own fry into her character, don't you have to suffer in a landless environment every day? At this time, Ibiki poked his head out and coughed twice in embarrassment to take over the duties of Red Bean. The second exam starts tomorrow, so ask your Shangnan sensei for the exact time and place of the assembly. Let's disband, everyone. Everyone looked at each other, put down the test paper and left the examination room. And Naruto on the other side directly brought the Red Bean to the periphery of the second exam Death Forest in advance. Mu done 4-pillar family technique. After a while, a bright 2-story cottage appeared above the clearing. Naruto sneered and threw a handful of red beans into the room. Good, quite courageous, huh? Looking at Naruto's weird expression and the eerie wooden house, Red Bean's face showed a scared expression. That people just want to surprise you. Surprise? Scare it. Naruto snorted twice. Since you sent it to the door yourself, let waifu tell you what is called Fuzuna. Hondo's face changed. Don't. I have to proctor tomorrow. Saying that, she jumped directly to escape through the window, but just jumped out of the air. Naruto's evil laughing voice came from inside the house. Want to run now? It's late. Suddenly, for vines suddenly stretched out from the wooden house, directly binding the limbs of the Red Bean, and in a scream, the Red Bean was dragged back to the room pitifully. Immediately the doors and windows were instantly welded, and countless vines trapped the Red Bean, and as the clothes exploded, the Red Bean looked at Naruto pitifully and said, I can explain. I'll talk about it later. Immediately, an enchantment enveloped the wooden house, and the wooden house disappeared from the forest. Once again, the forest of death fell into a silence. It wasn't until noon the next day, seeing that the exam was about to begin, that the refreshed Naruto and the vain Red Bean appeared in front of the examination room. At this time, Hondo no longer had any thoughts of scaring them at all, and casually sent the people below to let everyone sign the life and death certificate, and then directly let them receive the Book of Heaven and Earth. Looking at Naruto Azumi, who ran to flirt with Temari again, she suddenly lost her anger, and she shouted at the Naka Shinobu who distributed the scrolls, You go and give all the books of heaven and earth to that bastard. Isn't he in his own group? He had to put together 2 sets to qualify. The loud sound made the examinees look at Naruto one after another, and when they saw the 2 sets of scrolls in Naruto's hand, some unknown examinee's eyes lit up. I have long wanted to educate this damn present, and now it is still a quick way to clear the second exam? For a while, many fearless warriors stared at Naruto with bad intentions. Only Shikamaru and the others pouted. Where is this pit, Naruto? This is completely the group of fools in the village outside the pit. It is not easy to mess with those who think of being able to team up alone with their asses. And there are really fools who hit him with ideas. And at this time, a ninja wearing a Teki ninja brace looked at Naruto with interest, and Naruto happened to turn his head at him at this time and smiled, and the big snake pill who used the anti-writing technique frowned. This is finding himself? It's impossible. His camouflage technique is very awesome. It's not that you can't use chakra to transform, and changing your face and fluid to transform yourself is now exactly the same as the original Taki Shinobu. Orochimaru naturally has his own pride as one of the 3 ninjas. Even if he is discovered, he will not have much mood swings, even if Naruto is blown to the sky by Kabuto. But isn't it just to destroy a Kusanagi village? He can do it himself. What's more, his purpose this time is to help Konoha regenerate in addition to Sasuke. And Kusanagi village is completely incomparable to his own plan. If Naruto was not a human pillar force, he might also considering it as his spare tire, but the human pillar force as a nuclear deterrent of a village, naturally he could not rashly capture him. I, the great snake wind, still cares about Konoha even if I am no longer in Konoha. The main purpose of coming this time is to kill the old man of the trough who hindered the rotation of the big windmill in Konoha, and by the way, pit the sand-hidden village, and then get them a tailed beast. Of course, there is also to help this Twilight Ninja, who has taught himself for many years and finally forgot his original intention, to exit in a heroic way. Orochimaru licked his lips. There were so many things to do this trip. At this time, Naruto was not annoyed at all as he smiled and held the 2 scrolls, which were nothing compared to the action unlocked last night. Isn't it just one more scroll, even if it is worth eliminating the candidates in the entire examination room? Thinking of yesterday's wonderfulness, Naruto unconsciously put his eyes on Azuki again. Feeling Naruto's wolf-like gaze, Azuki directly shouted as if he had been burned on his ass, the time is up. Exam begins. Get them all in for me. Episode 105. Yes, that's the feeling. Come hit me. The king called me to patrol the mountains. I'll turn the forest around. While others were nervously rushing towards the depths of the forest, Naruto was now leisurely humming a ditty on the path, as if he was coming for an outing. At this time, the 3 Yuin village ninjas gritted their teeth and looked at Naruto below. Damn, it's so arrogant. Fortunately, we found it first, and the scroll arrived. Let him know that the world is not stable for a lifetime by relationships. That's right, it's just a backdoor. I saw the first exam he was sleeping. Konoha simply didn't take us seriously. That's right, kill him. Let him know why the flowers are so red. Forget it, after all, it is the son of the 4th generation. Who knows if Konoha has surveillance? Don't worry, no. How do you? The 3 people suddenly reacted that something was wrong. Why did he meow one more voice? Several people turned their heads in unison, and Naruto, who should be below, didn't know when he appeared behind him. Enemy attack. One of the leading Yunin screamed, and the umbrella with Sanbon in his hand was thrown out, and Sanbon fell towards Naruto like rain. Huh? Naruto looked at the 3 with interest. Isn't this the 3 big fools who went to Iroh with head iron? But he didn't expect to be bumped into by himself. It's bad luck for you to run into us. Let you see the strength of our Yuin village. Ninfa, like rain, and do 1,000 books. Naruto easily dodged the first wave of Senbon's attack, but the Yushinobu named Shiu smiled crookedly. Think you'll be able to hide? 1,000 books are full of my chakras, I can easily change their direction. Die. When the words fell, Senben, who had already failed, suddenly changed direction and stabbed at Naruto. Several Yushinobi showed a smug expression. Their strength was definitely at the forefront even in this exam. This is stable. However, just when they thought that the victory was in hand, Senbon stopped strangely half a meter away from Naruto in the air. Nanny? No way. The 3 Yushinobu were shocked, and their scalps were numb as they looked at the scene in front of them. However, what made them feel even more frightened was that their body was frozen in place as if it was controlled by an invisible force, unable to move. You found the wrong person, Naruto shrugged helplessly, and in the next second, Senbon, who was full of heads, suddenly turned his head and directly shot through the 3 of them in an instant. Congratulations on successfully killing the elite of Yuin village and getting 5,000 destiny points. Congratulations on successfully killing the elite of Yuin village and obtaining 3,000 heavenly destiny points. Congratulations on successfully killing the elite of Yuin village to endure the sudden rain and obtain 2,000 destiny points. Looking at the system's continuous prompts, Naruto pouted. At this time he has a lot of money. These thousands of points of destiny have completely failed to enter his eyes. The only thing he wants now is to save enough 100 million destiny points, and then come to an S-level lottery. Just the A-level lottery had already unlocked the terrifying Saitama training method, and if it was an S-rank lottery, Naruto couldn't imagine what level of reward it would be. However, if he relied on the protagonist's aura alone, it would take Naruto 27 years to gather 100 million heavenly destiny points. And this is still in the case of Naruto is still the protagonist, and in fact, according to the normal timeline, Naruto is only about 4 years away from the full level of the protagonist's halo, but even if you add the themed plot of the Atsuki people, there are only about 6 years left, which is only a fraction of 27 years. So Naruto cherished these cute experience packs extraordinarily. If it weren't for the way Sarutobi Hinata and Shimura Danzo really made Naruto respond, Naruto would even want to keep the 2 for the new year. Well, stay for the monthly brush experience. It's just that this kind of dragon set character, even if it is a one-time harvest, only a few thousand destiny points, and the 3 people together are barely worth their one-day reward. But it's much better than those cannon fodder who don't even have a name. Naruto sighed. Let's go to the 3 of me AI Luo first to mix some destiny points. How can the face of the crane be given more than the 5 or 5 kai? Immediately, Naruto turned over the scrolls of several people and disappeared in an instant. On the other side, the big snake pill rushed into the examination room and ordered the 2 big snakes as soon as he rushed into the examination room. Go find those little ghosts, remember to avoid the human pillar force. Immediately, the 3 of them immediately scattered in 3 directions. However, at this time, the second pillar led the 2 women to wander in the forest with a cold face, and Naruto's special training, and Sasuke at this time was much higher in strength than the original. This also means that the confidence of the 2 pillars at this time is incomparably expanded. However, his expansion lasted only 30 minutes, and a terrifying hurricane directly swept through half of the forest of death. The smoke and dust from the violent roar made the faces of many candidates change, and all this was just a simple breakthrough in the sea-level ninjutsu wind. Sasuke rolled down in a bush with a look of embarrassment, his face livid, and he looked at a passage that had been rammed out abruptly. What level of ninjutsu is this? How does it feel similar to the scale of the waterfall that the misty hidden village can no longer endure? The big snake pill smiled at the 2 psychic beasts. You guys go to other places to play first, I'll take a good look at this body. And Naruto, who was standing in front of Iroh at this time, raised his eyebrows and said to him, it seems that we are running out of time, do you want to reel? Temari and Kankuro looked at Naruto with a sneer. I've seen someone sent to death, I've never seen someone so diligent, and I actually provoked me era? He has never seen the strength of my AI Luo. And I love Luo with his hands on his shoulders and is not moved in the slightest. You told me the truth, I don't need your scroll. Temari and Kankuro looked at me AI Luo with a confused look. When did I AI Luo talk so well? Naruto sighed and put away the scroll. Okay, I'll admit, I'm here to beat you guys, you can go together. I love Luo's pupils shrank, he has never seen such arrogance. Although he feels warmth, but the temper formed over the years is not so easy to change. You looking for death? Iroh gritted his teeth and spat out 3 words at Naruto. Naruto applauded repeatedly. Ah, yes, yes. That's how it feels. Come, hit me. I love Ro, not a dish one. Sand Falls Burst. Episode 106. Beating me AI Luo, we have to believe in science. Sudden waves of sand surged from the ground, and although they did not crush the rocks under the ground to form sand like when dealing with Genmuro, their scale was also extraordinary. The reason for this, him. Kill that fox. I lend you my power. Beat him Shoha in my AI Luo body. Since I learned the true face of the tailed beast, I AI Luo felt completely unable to look directly at this talking fox cat inside my body at this time. Naruto looked at the incoming sand wave and did not dodge, and the opposite I AI Luo frowned. He just wanted to teach Naruto a lesson, and did not intend to kill him. After all, he let himself know of his mother's existence, and he was still grateful to Naruto in his heart. Now seeing Naruto's action without the slightest resistance, I AI Luo subconsciously wanted to take back part of chakra, who knew that the Shoha in the body was excited when he saw the 9 tails, and chakra and no money rushed up. The huge sand wave instantly submerged Naruto, not to mention 1/5 of the death forest directly buried by the sea of sand. The dark department in charge of monitoring looked at this scene in front of him dumbfounded. This TM is the Naka Shinobi exam. Countless unlucky shinobi in this area were directly affected by the attack. Temari and Kankuro looked at Iroh 22 with cold sweat. Isn't it a little too eye-catching? They were tasked with keeping a low profile before the official Chunin exam. I AI Luo's brow frowned. I didn't do it. Temari and Kankuro looked confused. It wasn't you who did it. They don't know that I AI Luo means that most of this attack was the power of Shotsuru. Temari asked a little sadly, is that guy dead? After all, I still have a good impression of him, if it weren't for the fact that he came here to find death in the end. Are you concerned about me? An abrupt voice came from directly below Temari. Yay! Temari jumped away in an instant, and saw Naruto leaking out of the soil like a groundhog. Tuduin? I Arrow frowned and looked at Naruto. Naruto slowly emerged like a lifting platform, and he hit the sand on his body. No, I just dug a hole in the ground. I love the 3 of Luo. Are you a groundhog? What they didn't know was that Naruto just wanted to test his physical strength. It had now been a few months since Saitama's training method began, and Naruto could feel the daily growth of his body as terrifying. The results of the new day's training are based on the physical strength before the training to grow again. This is also known as geometric growth, which explains why Saitama started by defeating a lobster monster with technology, but 3 years later slapped to death a dragon-level disaster. So Naruto just wanted to test his physical strength this time. I didn't expect that I resisted my Ailua's quicksand waterfall without even breaking a little skin. This kind of large-scale impact damage has completely broken its own defenses. After the test, Naruto grinned, it's my turn next. I AI Luo frowned, and the sand around me immediately gathered towards the middle and wrapped itself into a large ball. An eye of sand floated out of the ball, and last time his absolute defense did not react and was approached by Naruto, and now he closed himself. Even Naruto's speed could not break his defense. Especially these sand around him still come from his own gourd, which is the sand that he often uses chakra to moisten it, and his defense and control are stronger than ordinary ones. He has absolute self-confidence, and ordinary people can't break their own sand. However, it was clear that Naruto was not an ordinary person, and he looked at the sand of Iroh and smiled and said, do you know what science is? I AI Luo in the sand shield looked confused. How can this still be discussed with science? However, in the next second, he felt a piercing cold chi hit, and his sand shield was directly wrapped in a layer of cold thin ice. It is the ice age of frozen fruits. Have you heard of thermal expansion and contraction? Naruto smiled and looked at I AI Luo, who was frozen into an ice ball, and directly slapped his hands. Fire escape, how fire lost. Naruto suddenly opened his mouth and spewed a sea of fire towards the ice ball, and the shield of sand, which had been frozen hard, instantly shattered like glass after being subjected to high temperatures. Nanny, Iroh looked at Naruto, who reappeared in his field of vision in shock. His own solid sand shield was burned so easily? Naruto's eyes lit up. Could he really do it? You know, this guy's sand can be easily blocked even by Deidara's C4 Garilo. Unexpectedly, some basic physical phenomena were common to the original reality, and Naruto originally thought that this world was not under Newton's control. Looking at the dazed Aira, Naruto directly stretched out his palm and pressed it to the ground. Mudun Jibu bag technique. Chakra was sent to the ground, and a wooden palm stretched out directly and pressed Iroh to the ground. Muduan. Temari and Kankuro looked at Naruto with shocked expressions. My AI Luo's face was livid, and chakra condensed to break free from the wooden hand, but he was forced to find that his arm was as motionless as a ruthless iron hand. Useless little ghost, Mu-dun is specifically restraining the power of the tailed beast. The Shoha in my body scolded and cursed. No wonder that Stinky Fox actually admitted that he was the Azura of this generation. The tailed beasts have lived from ancient times to today, and each generation of the Thousand Hands clan has a successor to the Muda blood succession limit, and they naturally know it. Originally thought that after the demise of the Thousand Hands clan, Mu-dun would die, but I didn't expect another one to pop out. It's useless for you to struggle, can't you feel his chakra? Even if you add me, your chakra is not as much as him. This is not counting the Stinky Fox, this little ghost is simply a monster. More perverted than our tailed beasts. Ai Luo wanted to struggle unwillingly, but he sadly found that his chakra was constantly being absorbed by the wood on his body and blooming small flowers. Temari and Kankuro's faces changed drastically, and Temari took out the scroll on his body and shouted at Naruto, "Wait a minute. Reals for you. Don't hurt me, Ilua." Ai Luo under the wooden hand was moved. Sure enough, what this guy said was true, and his brothers and sisters were silently caring about him. However, Naruto was unmoved. He walked over to Iroh and crouched. "How? Do you throw in the towel?" At this time, the system has not yet sounded the prompt. If this guy does not admit defeat, he can only knock him unconscious for forced judgment. Ai Luo glanced at Temari and Kankuro, and finally nodded with a bitter face. "I admit defeat." Episode 107. The Battle of the 7th Class. Even if I love Luo, no matter how angry he has not lost his mind after all. Although there was still a fake sleep technique as a whole card, he didn't use it in the end, and of course he didn't know that even if he used it, it wouldn't be useful. Naruto looked at the number given in the background and his heart blossomed. He waved his hand and disappeared to pull Iroh up. "It's not over if you admit defeat early. Everyone is a family. How can I, who is a brother-in-law, embarrass you? I love Ro, not a dish one." Temari's face was red, but he didn't dare to speak more. This is a monster that even Ai Luo can't beat. "The scroll is here, can we go?" Kankuro carefully put the scroll on the ground. Naruto looked back at the two with an evil smile in his eyes, and when Naruto left, the scroll on the ground was not only not less, but one more scroll. It's just that Kankuro has a blue nose and a swollen face, and Temari is covering his ass and looking at the departing Naruto with a red face and gritted teeth. Is there something wrong with this guy? After admitting defeat himself, he even beat the two of them, saying that the system that has not experienced actual combat does not recognize it. The next time we meet, we must give him a sentence that cannot be killed. "You can kill me, but you can't fuck me." Touching his red ass, Temari with anger in his eyes, "There is no gentlemanly style at all." He said that if he didn't hit his face, he would hit people. And Naruto didn't have the heart to think about Temari these girly feelings at this time. And at this time, he was immersed in the happiness of 140,000 high destiny values. Although you can only beat once a month, beating once is directly equivalent to the bonus given by the full-level protagonist's aura for half a month. No way. Say whatever you want to leave these three siblings in Konoha, anyway. They are also the abandoned sons of Sand Shinobi Village. You don't want us, Konoha. Then Naruto rushed in the other direction at high speed, and Naruto could clearly sense through Kagura's hard eyes that several groups of chakras were clashing. That's right, it's where Orochimaru fought Sasuke. Not long ago, Orochimaru swallowed his earth scroll in front of Sasuke, and immediately used murderous chi to cooperate with Narukami's technique to impact the spirits of the three. However, what he didn't know was that being thrown off a 100-meter cliff under Naruto's instruction was already the norm. In order to help Nezuko open the Sharingan, Naruto, who had not become a Kyu, could only think of making him experience the feeling of death in various ways. So he used Carp's exercise method, threw the three off the cliff, tied up balloons and flew into the sky, fighting to the death with various beasts. Death has long been nothing to fear for several people. "Sakura, Kaka," Sasuke shouted, and the two immediately surrounded to the sides, and Orochimaru looked at the scene in front of him with interest. Not bad? It seems that it is not simply a flower in a greenhouse. Multiple shadow doppelganger technique. Xiangli secretly shouted in his heart, and dozens of identical shadow doppelgangers suddenly appeared behind him, and the big snake pill glanced at Xiangli's red hair playfully. So that's the case, the orphan of the Uzumaki clan? This chakra is not inferior to the blood-red peppers of the year. And suddenly, the forest in the eyes of the big snake pill suddenly became empty. The original hordes of incense and Sasuke all disappeared. Illusion fox heart technique. Sakura, as an existence who was pulled into the team of the Little Strong by the 8 flying sun, although it is officially said to be a fantasy ninja, there is no doubt that her talent is the lowest among the 12 small powerhouses. Even after worshipping Tsunade, it took 4 years of accumulation to barely form a In seal at the time of the final Ninja World 4 battles, and finally cast himself the greatest illusion that could stand with Sasuke Naruto. As a result, in the next second, Naruto and the two abandoned her to fight the boss. So Naruto, with the idea of trying, summoned Red to teach Sakura illusions. Unexpectedly, this guy's brain is really good, and his talent in illusion is also particularly outstanding. You must know that illusion is a technique that uses chakra to interfere with the other party's five senses and disturb the other party's chakra to make it fall into hallucinations. And the more realistic the illusion created by the caster, the less likely it is that the caster will make a decision. And in this way, Sakura's god-level brain came in handy. She can analyze and record the surrounding terrain and the characteristics of the characters in a short time. And in a very short time, create a false environment to interfere with the enemy's perception. In Naruto's words, her talent is a dream maker. As long as she can fool the subconscious defense mechanism, then she can create sinking illusions. According to Naruto's guess, if she wasn't afraid of her brain going down, she could even create illusions comparable to Tsukiyo. The only pity is that a huge illusion of her chakra's level is undoubtedly unlikely. But that didn't prevent her from fighting much better than she had ever known to shout on the sidelines. After all, sometimes illusion can play a surprising role. It's like when Sasuke fought Danzo, and finally relied on an ordinary illusion to make Danzo think that he still had Sharingan Eye to use the final Jedi counterkill. If it is an ordinary ninja, maybe her illusion can play the role of the finishing touch, but unfortunately, this person in front of him is one of the legendary three ninjas, and it is also the big snake pill with the deepest soul development in the ninja illusion. Although his lack of soul was due to the reason of immortal rebirth, there is no doubt that he has the strongest understanding of the spirit among the three ninjas. This lowest level illusion technique was easily cracked by it in less than a second, and at this time, Xiangli's shadow doppelganger had already surrounded it densely, spiraling pills. Xiangli shouted, and dozens of shadow doppelgangers rubbed balls and smashed towards the big snake pill. Since Tsunade's strange power cannot be developed, use the spiral pill instead of the strange power attack as a flat A. This is what the huge chakra of the Vortex clan can do, which undoubtedly consumes more chakra than strange power, but as a red-haired shiny pure-blood Vortex family, this is a small thing. The big snake pill looked at the incense in the sky with an interested expression on his face. The technique of Watergate plus the chakra of Gyoshinai is interesting. I saw that he suddenly threw out a few shurikens and sealed his hands. The shuriken quickly split in midair, and eventually it exploded densely to hundreds, shooting in all directions. Shuriken Shadow Doppelganger. Xiangli's shadow avatar didn't have time to dodge, and she was shot from the sky, and her body screamed and hid behind a large tree to avoid being shot by the sieve. At this time, Sasuke had also finished his madra. His eyes had already opened his scarlet chakra eyes and stared at the big snake pill. Fire escape how dragon fire art scared. Episode 108. The 7th class of doing more 100 million hands preparation. A huge fire dragon head sprayed directly towards the big snake pill, and the big snake pill looked at Sasuke in ecstasy with a look of excitement. Is there already so much chakra? Worthy of his younger brother. Sparasi. Orochimaru laughed loudly. 10 hidden soils. An earthen wall suddenly rose and appeared in front of the big snake pill, and the fire dragon hit the earth wall and suddenly exploded violently, and the sound of the big snake pill came out from the smoke. It's really not ordinary prey, it's interesting. I hope you can let me play a little longer. Hidden shadow snake hand. 3 giant pythons suddenly burst out of the smoke and rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke frowned, and chose to use Chakra's least instantaneous body to dodge the attack, while Xiangyu was startled by the giant python. Don't come over. It's disgusting. Spiral pills. With a bang, the big snake was directly shot out. On the other side, Sakura did not react in the slightest, and the giant python instantly swallowed Sakura's figure directly, but Sasuke and Kasa were not nervous at all, because soon another Sakura's figure reappeared on the side of the giant python. Mirage. This is Naruto's trick that Nami thought of next door for Sakura to research herself. As a weak chicken assistant who can't do anything 270, save your life always in the first place, even if you can't help, don't mess up your teammates. Therefore, Sakura's main purpose of releasing illusions is not only to help her teammates attack, but also to release secondary illusions to hide her figure. The smoke gradually dispersed, and the big snake pill looked at the 3 people with different performances and licked his tongue. Your actual combat is very mature, worthy of Konoha village. Can you still cultivate your strength in peacetime? Another main purpose of his coming to Konoha for revenge this time is that with Yunin village as the leader, other villages have begun to engage in a crazy arms race under the stimulation of the Shao organization. And Konoha has always been in a half-dead state because of high-level political struggles, and as a rebel who was released from Konoha, Orochimaru has always been attached to Konoha. Even though his teacher's actions made him frustrated, he had never taken revenge for so many years, and he was just a scourge to other shinobi villages. Now that the village of Sand Shinobu has been cut by the Wind Country for many years, it is ready to use the tailed beast to make a fuss in Konoha to make the daimyo of the Wind Country pay attention to the importance of armaments. Knowing how to do this information, in the face of the tragic situation that Konoha was about to be divided, Orochimaru decided to strike first, forcibly fooled Sand Shinobu to weaken a wave, sent the tailed beast to Konoha, and then purged the indecisive 3 generations. Because the big snake pill knows that it has been more than 10 years since the Fourth War, the strength of various countries has been restored a lot, and the daimyos who have a lot of money and have nowhere to spend began to want to do things again. At this time, the role of the Hawks group is undoubtedly much stronger than that of the Ape Flying Sun. Coupled with his own covetousness for the Sharingan, this led to the implementation of this Konoha collapse, rebirth, plan. I originally thought that the 3 generations who advocated peace all day were a group of waste, but I never thought that Sasuke and several others had good combat ability. In that case, I'll have fun with you. Orochimaru stretched out his long tongue and licked his lips, and chakra attached his legs and the whole person directly transformed into a phantom and rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke's face changed drastically, and he lost his voice in shock. Impossible. How could it be so fast? This is completely beyond the speed that a shinobi should have, and even has exceeded Kakashi's speed. The so-called prey must always maintain a high level of tension and run around. Sasuke changed, his eyes fixed on Orochimaru. So fast. But keep up. I saw that his eyes quickly followed the movement of the big snake pill, and he quickly removed the bracers and sandbags used as weights from his limbs. Danger level increased. Contact camouflage. Sasuke shouted at Xiangyu, and the whole person's speed soared directly with Orochimaru. The big snake pill on the opposite side was stunned. He looked at the weight that fell to the ground and smashed out the small pit, revealing a surprised expression, but he still retained his strength. On the other side, Xiangyu also made the same move as Sasuke. The weight fell, and the speed of the two soared a level here. And Sasuke, who was originally unable to keep up with Sharingan, was directly able to easily take the attack of Orochimaru. And his ceiling speed soared again, and even the low level how Fireball came with his mouth open, which is the result of Naruto's tireless exercise over the years, and it is finally luck and luck. Coupled with Naruto's natural understanding of the original characters, he has strengthened them according to their characteristics. It's just that they are indoctrinated with cautious and courageous thinking. They habitually hide their strength, and habitually make more preparations. Of course, with their strength, it is obvious that they can only do a few more hands, but it is obvious that they have succeeded at this moment. It made the big snake pill even more excited. What a genius! The genius of this prey himself is not at all inferior to Kakashi. With his current strength, if he opens the 3-hook jade riding wheel eye again, the power of the upper ninja level, and the strong chakra and powerful perception ability of another girl of the Vortex clan also made the eyes of the big snake pill shine. Sasuke's face showed a smug expression at this time. Sure enough, playing a pig and eating a tiger is the coolest. Although I don't know what this snake-like disgusting thing in front of me is, he successfully suppressed him. Shuriken art. Sen no Tachi. The shuriken with the steel wire quickly bound the big snake pill, and Xiangyin was even more unwilling to outstretch a golden chain from his body and directly trapped the big snake pill on the tree trunk. King Kong blockade. The blood succession limit of the Vortex clan. Although it is not up to the spectacular scene of several chains coming out of Joshinai, just one can greatly suppress the enemy's chakra. And Sasuke's hands hurriedly and quickly froze. He jerked his hand to the ground, and the piercing hum slowly gathered from his hand. Chidori. The low-grade version of Ratchet exuded a smell of meat paste, accompanied by countless birdsongs. Sasuke sparked all the way with lightning and rushed directly towards the big snake pill. Die. And at this time, Sasuke's eyes have turned into the state of Sengoyu. Episode 110. The Great Snake Pill Who Really Loves Konoha. The Forest of Death in the dusk was full of strange feelings, and Red Bean successfully found the big snake pill lying in the tree under the perception of the spell seal. At this time, she did not know that Orochimaru deliberately stayed in place in order to warn Konoha. Long time no see, Red Bean. Hondo gritted his teeth and said hatefully to the big snake pill, "You are already a wanted S-class super dangerous figure, so even if I spare my life, I will defeat you here." A complicated look flashed on Hondo's face. Isn't this accepting all your teachings, which used to be the mission of your subordinates? Big snake pill. Hidden shadow snake hand. For long pythons were like chains, directly towards the big snake pill, and the red beans that were originally embedded in the tree were directly dragged out. She pressed one of the hands of the big snake pill on the tree, and the kunai in her hand fiercely fixed towards the two people. Suddenly, a palm tightly gripped the kunai of the red bean. Who? Red Bean was shocked. Could it be that he still had accomplices? "I'll be distressed if you do that." Naruto's helpless voice came from behind him. "When will your impulsive personality change, Naruto?" Red Bean looked back at Naruto, who looked helpless. Naruto directly gave Azuki a brain melon. "How long do you plan to press this doll? Puppets?" Hondo was stunned, turned his head to look at the big snake pill, and at this time the big snake pill in his hand had turned into a mess. To do doppelganger? Just now, she was still planning to perform a forbidden technique and die with the big snake pill, and in the original book, the big snake pill saw that this silly girl was planning to commit suicide and also took the initiative to jump out from behind her. Now the big snake pill is also slowly emerging from the other side. You are Naruto Uzumaki. Orochimaru looked at Naruto with interest. You did the spell mark on the red bean that cannot be perceived, right? Naruto looked at Orochimaru with a smile and nodded. I don't want to do something loveful and need to be stared at. The big snake pill asked with a strange look. In that case, why don't you just remove the spell mark? You should be able to do it with your ability, right? Naruto touched the head of the red bean and said, this guy has to be a ninja, and I can't stay by his side at any time. You don't know the cruelty of the ninja world. There is a spell mark that may be able to save your life at a critical moment. Although it is only the earth spell seal, the bonus of immortal energy is enough for Red Bean to soar from the strength of the special shinobi to the ninja level of the Dao Elite. So Naruto just isolated the spirit of the big snake pill and did not directly pull it out like Itachi. Hondo glared at him and said angrily, I don't need his power. Naruto looked at Orochimaru. This was the first time he had officially seen him, although he had glanced at himself during the Nine Tails Rebellion before, but he had not changed like now. You are also awesome to be able to transform your body into this, or your current body is just a shell. Naruto knew that the body of the big snake pill was a white phosphorus snake, and this guy had already completely transformed one of them from the human category. Orochimaru squinted at Naruto. It looks like you know a lot. Naruto smiled slightly, more than you expected. So you're here to stop me? Naruto suddenly spread his hands and said, I'm not interested in going against the legendary Sanshin, I'm just here to save my daughter-in-law. The red bean behind him blushed, and then asked Naruto in a huff, can you hit him? Arrest him. The aura of the human trafficker of the big snake pill is full level, but everyone who has followed him will be impressed by his inexplicable personality charm. And the reason why Hondo is so angry is mainly because he didn't take her when the big snake pill defected. Red Lotus, Junmuro, and Kabuto all regard the big snake pill as a god in their hearts. This makes even Naruto, who has the aura of the protagonist, envious, and continues with awesome brainwashing. And he still needs to tremble to wander between the beauty. I haven't seen you for so long, you're really cold. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth rose when he heard Hondo's words. It's also a special forbearance of the village, and it's not okay to always use the forbidden technique I gave you. Orochimaru looked at Naruto and slowly spoke, if you don't do it, I will leave. This time I just want to plant my mark on the excellent talents of the village. Naruto rolled his eyes in disdain. I think you're here to help the village get rid of Uchiha's troubles, right? Orochimaru's pupils shrank when he heard this, and he said with a dry smile, I don't know what you're talking about. And Naruto slowly spoke, the current Konoha disease is very deep, and the reason is the rotten roots hidden under the big tree. All countries are desperately engaged in an arms race because of the provocation of the Shao organization, but on the contrary, Konoha's strength has not risen but fallen, and it is busy fighting for power. There is a village of sand hidden outside who wants to take Konoha because of the cut in military spending. There is Sarutobi Hinata and Shimura Danzo fighting incessantly, and there is also a Uchiha Itachi who holds the secret of Uchiha's extinction clan and threatens Konoha at all times. If anyone can solve these three problems, I'm afraid that the whole of Konoha will be reborn, right? Orochimaru's face completely changed after listening to Naruto's words, who revealed his plan. Through Konoha's collapse plan, he induced Sand Shinobu to attack Konoha's final anti-general army, kill Sarutobi Hinata and make Konoha's high-level change blood, thereby changing the status quo of the struggle for power, kidnap Uchiha Sasuke and transfer Uchiha Itachi's hatred from Konoha to himself. This kind of Konoha collapse plan of 10.2 stone 3 birds was actually recognized so easily? Orochimaru looked at Naruto carefully this time, and he could only feel that the guy in front of him probably knew more than he thought. No wonder Danzo was so afraid of Naruto in front of him, not only his strength, but even the intelligence was so detailed. Naruto looked at Orochimaru with a smile and asked with a strange expression, Sarutobi has treated you like this, you are still towards Konoha, you really don't have any feelings. The big snake pill was silent for a while and slowly sank into the trees. I just feel funny when I see things that move, and I feel bored when I see things that don't move, and the leaves of Konoha have not been blown for a long time, only the soldiers are alive. I suddenly found you more interesting than Sasuke, and we'll see each other again.